All is fair in love and war, but I can't fight with you anymore. Written by Melody. Read by Amaryllis. Anne, unsurprisingly, doubts herself. Sure, Newtopia is beautiful. The palace, decked out in a lavish drapery adorned with lilies and irises, crystal statues and sparkling shells, is beautiful. She takes a moment to watch the partygoers as she and Sprig step through the entrance. Suits and dresses, pearls and silk and gossamer. Beautiful. She's only looking for 2 people, though. 1. Her mission, Sasha Waybright. The last time Anne saw her, they nearly killed each other, again, at Toad Tower, again. Rumor has it, well, Sasha literally told her, but rumor has it the Toad army is eyeing up Newtopia, and Sasha's looking to launch an attack at this very party. So naturally, Anne is here to stop her, because she always is. Secondly is Marcy Wu, who she hasn't talked to since they went to the temples. The king has been secretive lately, too secretive, and Marcy is her way in. In the back of her head, Anne buries the truth. She mostly just misses her. She mostly just misses them both. This all feels like a slap in the face. Fancy Newtopians and upper-class revelries to put off the only 2 representatives in Wartwood in the room, making her doubt herself. It's all just smoke and mirrors, she knows. And it's not her mission, but she knows there must be something hiding beneath. Sprig tugs on her dress, pulling her out of her train of thought. Is that her? He asked, pointing at a pale blue newt in a lavender gown. Anne shakes her head. They're both humans, dude. You'll know them when you see them. Anne is no master at espionage, but Sprig is no better, she thinks. He looks so out of place in his little blue suit. Though she wouldn't know who else would accompany her. And for what it's worth, she's glad he's here. Can we dance, Anne? He's looking at the band, watching the fiddle player as they play an upbeat tune. Not a bad idea. We gotta scope this place out somehow. Sprig grins. Follow my lead, he says with an overdramatic bow, offering his hand to Anne. Gladly. Anne takes it and pulls Sprig over to the dance floor. Their imitation of fancy Newtopian waltzes is poor, to say the least, and Anne is half paying attention, looking for her human friends. Friends? Ex-friends? They step on each other's toes, and at this point Anne isn't sure who's leading, but Sprig is laughing, though she's laughing too, twirling him around. She's not paying attention enough as they get close to the edge of the dance floor. Sprig spins her around, and she all but bumps into Sasha into the dance floor, stopping just short of her face. Anne can't help but notice that she's let her long hair down, usual armor replaced by a long red off-the-shoulder velvet dress, and black jewelry spiraling up her arms like vines, instead of padded bracers. For a split second, they're a couple of inches apart, and Sasha is smirking at her, and all Anne can think is how beautiful she is. Sprig pulls her back into their pseudo-waltz, and Anne snaps back to reality, as she always must when it comes to Sasha. It doesn't matter how pretty she is if they're always trying to kill each other. Was that her? Sprig asked, voice hushed. Pass me off to her and look for Marcia? Try and dance her over to me if you can. She'll like you. On it! Anne looks away from Sprig over her shoulder, and Sasha is still looking at them, smirking. Anne quickly looks back, reeling. This sure will be a night. Sprig leads Anne over to Sasha and promptly ducks into the crowd. Face to face again, Sasha has her arms crossed, one eyebrow quirked up at Anne, waiting. Anne bows and offers Sasha her hand. Care to dance, Waybright? I've only been waiting all night, Boonchoy. Sasha takes her hand and wraps the other one around her waist. swiftly whisking them off to the dance floor. Ah, so this is happening. Anne puts her free arm around Sasha's shoulder. Surely you have better things than wait around. For you? Never. Of course. So Sasha fully intends to dance around this, huh? Right. Do you have better things to do? Sasha asks innocently, tilting her head. You could say that. Sasha smiles. You know, it's nice seeing you in better conditions, she says. Not curious about what I'm up to? Anne asks. Sasha is leading, but Anne holds her arm up so Sasha can spin anyway. Of course I am, Anne. Sasha spins, her dress twirling elegantly. She grabs Anne's raised arm and moves it to the small of her own back, pulling Anne closer and guiding them along in the dance. I don't have anything better to do, she says with a grin. Are you so sure about that? Anne slides her hand onto Sasha's shoulder again. The Toad Army isn't here if that's what you're asking. Gosh, don't be so worried, Anne. Anne looks over her shoulder. Now she's even more worried. Sprig and Marcy are nearby, dancing with each other, mid-laughter. Sprig catches her eye. Anne draws her attention back to Sasha, narrowing her eyes. Then what are you here for, First Lieutenant? Suddenly, there's a rush of pink and green fabric. Sasha passes her off, and Anne finds herself in Marcy's arms, who's caught by her shoulders. Marcy! Anne! Oh my gosh! I had no idea you were going to be here. Marcy is glowing, enchanting. She wears a long-sleeved dress, black lace trailing up her arms and over the top portion, and a dark green sweeping skirt that brushes against Anne's shoes. Her beautiful smile is contagious. Green really is her color. Yeah, well, the mayor decided I should be Wartwood's ambassador. Anne puts both her hands on Marcy's back, unsure of what else to do with them, and begins leading them before other dancers crash into them. I know! Sprig told me. How have I never met him before? He's awesome! She's so different from Sasha's cool facade, Anne thinks. How can Marcy be so genuine? Anyway, congratulations! I'm at these super fancy official events all the time, 'cause I live here and I'm helping the king all the time, so maybe we'll see each other more often now. Yeah, maybe. The position is temporary, just for tonight, but Anne doesn't have the heart to tell her that. She's so happy. You look great, by the way. Marcy looks down at her dress, and somehow her smile gets even wider. Thanks! You too, you know. Thanks. Anne looks down at the floor in a poor attempt to hide her face. So, how's King Andrius? Marcy frowns. Currently, extremely worried. He is, well, not exactly ready to, get attacked yet. I know. I'm trying, Marmar. Marcy giggles at the nickname, and Anne's heart leaps. You and me, Anne. We got this. We'll defend the castle. Oh, of course we will. Anne pauses. What do you mean by not ready yet? Well, her eyes dart around the room. She draws Anne closer in, pulling her head against her shoulder. I would tell you if I knew. Andrius, I think he's hiding things from me, she whispers. What kind of things? Anne whispers into her shoulder. Her heart is beating out of her chest, and Marcy is so close, it's hard to focus. Something powerful. Weapons. Beyond what even I understand. Ah, that's probably bad. Some kind of ancient robot technology. I think you're familiar? Anne nods. And Marcy continues. Something else. Anne lifts up her head and faces her. Do you trust him? Anne, I can't. Whatever it is, it's not good. She looks at the floor, the walls, anywhere but Anne. I find things, and he doesn't. She shakes her head. I told you too much. Don't worry about it, Anne. It's probably nothing. Never mind. Marcy. Anne slowly draws her hand up to Marcy's face, cupping her cheek. She tilts her head, gently, to look up back at her. Are you hiding things from me too? Anne, oh look! Marcy practically shoves her away, spinning her around, and she inelegantly stumbles into Sprig. Anne grabs his hand haphazardly, trying to regain her balance. She watches Marcy exclaim, Sasha! And grab both her hands. Sasha's laughter rings, melodic, almost harmonizing with Marcy's giggles, as they duck into the crowd. Sprig! Anne, you okay? Sprig pulls her toward wherever in the crowd her two targets went. Good enough. How are you, dude? Sasha kept stepping on my toes, he says bluntly. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Dude, the situation is way more serious than I thought. I have no idea what Sasha's deal is, and Marcy told me some stuff about the king hiding stuff. I need to talk to Sasha again. Did you find out anything from her? Anne, calm down, Sprig assures, leading her into their weird half-waltz again. We got this. Anne lets out a deep breath, feeling much better than before. Thanks, Sprig. Now come on, let's dance our way over there. We can't lose them now. Right. They shuffle over, navigating around the crowd for a few moments, before Anne says, Wait, Sprig, did you find out anything about Sasha? No. She just stepped on my toes. Anne nods. Ah, I see. She leans over slightly, trying to get a better view of Marcy and Sasha. She can sort of hear their conversation, as she barely makes out Marcy talking, leaned in close to Sasha. Will you do, Sash? Anne and Sprig spin closer to them. Sasha responds. I don't think you have anything to worry about. Okay, Marcy squeaks. Sure, yep. And, oh no. She looks directly at Anne, and her eyes go wider than Anne's ever seen. She turns her attention back to Sasha and spins them around so Anne can't see her. Now's my chance, Anne murmurs to Sprig, and grabs Sasha's arm as she spins, pulling her into a twirl of her own. Sprig ducks underneath their arms and holds his hand out to a very flustered Marcy. Sasha stops the spin by placing her free arm down on Anne's shoulder. So we meet again, Anne. She still has that cool, collected grin plastered on her pretty face. Sasha. Anne places her other hand on Sasha's, the one birding on her shoulder, and works to lock their fingers together. Her other hand hovers to Sasha's back. Would you answer my question, please? What are you doing here? She giggles. I guess it's been long enough for me to tell you. I am here for two things. One is power. Information about super weapons, perhaps? She moves her intertwined hand up to grab Anne's wrist. Anne just narrows her eyes at her. She hopes Sasha can feel the disdain. Sasha's facade drops for a few seconds, her face turning into a look of frustration. So she didn't get the information she wanted from Marcy. Her expression quickly schools into that cool, sinister smile. Two. Well, isn't it obvious? What I'm doing right now? What? Being bait for you, she says with a smile. What? Well, you always get so distracted. chasing after me. I can't have you and your powers defending Wartwood, so I dragged you out here. That's not what... Surely you must have noticed. Not one person from the Toad Army is here, and by now we've taken your precious little hometown. Sasha leans in, brushes Anne's bangs out of her eyes. Slowly, she whispers in her ear, "Knight takes rook. Soon we will have the king." With that, she withdraws, and for the final time that night, disappears into the crowd. Anne stands in the middle of the dance floor, alone for once, eyes wide. She blinks back tears and turns to leave. Notes: Sasha is a Catrakinny. Thank you for listening. If you like this fic, make sure that you support Mellowbee on AO3. The link to this fic and their profile will be linked in the description. And now for a few bloopers. The link to this fic and their profile will be linked in the